Welcome, parents and students, to the Media Arts and Design School's information session. My name is Trudy, and I will be your MC for today. Before we begin, we'd like to bring your attention to some house rules for this webinar. Please note that we are muting your mics. We will also disable your video function. So if you would like to pose a question, please type it in the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. This morning, the program will be as follows. First, we will have our director, Ms. Tan Yan Yan, give us the welcome address. Next up, our Deputy Director, Mr. Christopher Goh, will explain to you more about the Diploma in Media Arts and Design. This will be followed by a question and answer session with our panelists from MAD School's Executive Committee. We will end off with breakout webinars to the specializations that you are passionate about. Let us now hear from the Director of the Media Arts and Design School, Ms. Tan Yan Yan. Yan Yan, please.
Thank you, Trudy. A very warm welcome to all of you, parents and students, to our SP Media Arts and Design School EAE webinar. I really want to thank all of you for taking the time this Saturday morning and just giving us a little bit of your time so that we can share with you what our Media Arts and Design School has to offer. Now, some of you may be aware that 2 years ago, SP took the very bold step to bring together our 8 diplomas into a single diploma called our Diploma in Media Arts and Design, and with 8 specializations. Now, this is the only program amongst all the polys that have such an offering. Some of you may be wondering, why did we take such a move? The fact is that even before COVID, we could already very clearly see a shift in the needs of talent for the creative industry. So what is this move about? There really is a move towards a convergence of skills. And what the industry needs are talent with both broad skills as well as deep specialization skills. And creativity is often sparked when people with different skills and perspectives are able to innovate together and bring in skills from the different domains to create breakthrough solutions. So what happened post-COVID? Post-COVID, this trend became even clearer. And when we talk to our industry, they emphasize time and again that they need talent with agility to move between domains. They need talent that have the ability to innovate as situations change. And we have seen how situations can just change so quickly. And many of you may be aware that during COVID lockdown, the media arts and design sector was quite badly affected. And the need to move between sectors became even more apparent. And we realized that deep specialization skills in your craft, such as in animation, in music, design, must be complemented by broad cross-cutting skills that can future-proof our graduates. So with that as a backdrop, our team re-looked at our offering of courses and specializations. And in view of the post-COVID developments, today we are super delighted to launch a suite of 7 new specializations that will give a sharper focus to the opportunities available in the industry in this post-COVID era. We have developed a curriculum that allows students to acquire the deep relevant skills in their domain, as well as that transdisciplinary mindset that is able to foster innovation and working across diverse teams. My colleague Chris will be sharing this a little bit more later. Every year, we do a graduate employment survey and we ask our students, what is it that they value most in their 3 years in the poly? And unanimously, the answer is really the experience. Beyond the course structure, what is it that really makes a difference is the experience that our students have. Allow me to read to you a letter that a father wrote to the school just a few weeks ago. And this about his son, who's from our recent graduating batch. This is what he said. My son has finally completed his Polytechnic education when the final semester results was released this week. My family would like to express our heartfelt appreciation to the lecturers and staff at the Media Arts and Design School for enabling my son to have this amazing journey in SP. My son has never been in a mainstream school, and it was with much trepidation that we applied for him to join SP through the EAE program. We are grateful to the lecturers who have been willing to give him an opportunity and accepted him into the program through the audition, despite the obvious challenges he has. The issues my son faced in SP were many. Whilst he is a hardworking boy, he had problems with social and communication skills and were under much stress whenever he needed to work either in project groups or individual work that required collaboration with other students. Through the 3 years, he received much help and encouragement from many lecturers. We also do not forget some of his classmates who had been very kind to him, who would look out for him and help him. Some would even message me when they saw that he had major problems. When we look back, the 3 years in SP, we know the challenges and problems he had overcome. And this has taught him resilience and made him a tougher person. We want to thank every lecturer, staff and student in the course that have helped or supported him one way or another and giving him the opportunity to grow as a person. This is the spirit of the Media Arts and Design School. MAD, as we affectionately call it, is about making a difference. And I really look forward to welcoming you to join the MAD family and to begin your creative journey with us here at MAD. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yan Yan. Before I introduce our speaker for the day, let me bring your attention to the Q&A button found at the bottom of your screen. You can ask our panelists questions by clicking on the Q&A button and keying in your question. Our panelists will answer your questions in the later part of this info session. Next up, we have the course chair for the Diploma in Media Arts and Design, Mr. Christopher Goh, to share more about this diploma. Christopher, please.
Thanks, Trudy, and thanks, Yan, for introducing the program. Good morning, parents and future students. My name is Chris, and I am the course chair for the Diploma in Media Arts and Design. And let me just share a slide, and I'll just take you through our program. There we go. Right. Okay. So I believe you can see my screen. So what is DMAT and why is DMAT so different from every other course? As Yan shared previously, the 8 diplomas that we previously had was brought together in a single diploma, which is called the Media Arts and Design Diploma. And currently, with doing that, we actually allow students to actually cross-train or cross-learn from different disciplines as the whole media, art, and creative sector merges together, and skill sets are important for not just a single siloed specialization, but the need then to cross into various other specializations, or at least with the skill sets from other specializations. So DMAT provides that with that singular diploma that allows students then to not just go deep in their specialization, but also allows students to cut across into various other skill sets and to learn relevant things that are needed across the different skill sets, across the different specializations. And it breeds and it trains a special breed of creative professionals that is required for the future. DMAT integrates the various disciplines into a single diploma, and currently there's 7 specializations that students can choose from when they come in to do DMAT, as well as creating a variety of broad skill sets to complement students in their chosen specialization. Now, let me just share a bit more about the DMAT course structure. And first year, when students come in, they will go into what is called the Foundry program in the first semester. And just take note for EAE students, they will come in straight into Foundry, and they will be coming into DMAT and not into the specializations. They will only be choosing their specializations at the end of the Foundry program. And in Foundry, students will go through the various core modules in Foundry, as well as selecting a few taster modules, and they will also be doing a play lab. I'll talk a bit more about Foundry in a short while. In the second semester of first year, students will then choose and be posted into their specializations. based upon their performance in their taster modules and in their Foundry program. In the second year, students will carry on with a specialization, but they'll be brought back together to work on what is called a Math Studio project. Math Studio project basically is an industry-based project with a live client where students from the various disciplines will come back again and begin to work together cross-discipline in a transdisciplinary setting to work on live projects and to solve complex problems. So this allows them to not just work within the specialization, but to work across and learn how to work with different specializations into different disciplines. In third year, students will do their internship as well as take on the transdisciplinary project. And they will also then be doing their final year project in their semester. Now, the third year semester is a flip-flop semester, which means one semester they'll be going out to do their internship, and the other semester they'll be in school doing their transdisciplinary project as well as the final year project. That is the structure generally for the DMAT course. Now, let me just share a bit more about Foundry. And again, I just want to reiterate that EAE students, if you are selected and you're offered a place, you'll be coming into DMAT in terms of the Foundry program, and you're not coming in straight into the specialization. Specialization will then allow you, Foundry will give you that place to have the proper grounding to develop foundational skill sets before you begin to choose a specialization. The key modules that are in the Foundry program is Storycraft, Human Experience and Behavior, Principles of Design, which is basically the core skill sets from the media arts and design sector. And all the skill sets are taught and brought together into a project module called PlayLab. And in PlayLab is the start of the project core, which runs throughout, as you've seen earlier, into Math Studio project and into the transdisciplinary project in third year. As mentioned previously, students will also choose 2 out of 5 taster modules. And this will give them that experience of what the specialization will be like if they were to actually take on certain specializations. The 5 tasters that we have are storytelling for communication and content creation, designing delightful experiences, animation and games, ready, set, go, brand design, inside out, and make some sound and music. So once students complete the specialization, 2 out of 5 specializations, they will then also begin to rank the various specializations that they would like to choose at the end of the Foundry program for their remaining time over in SP for the diploma. Let me touch a bit about what is transdisciplinary and how we actually bring transdisciplinary into the space. Transdisciplinary is defined as people from different disciplines working together to solve ideas and problems. And this tends to be very complex ideas and problems. It allows students also to build their portfolio. And this is one of the things which we have been hearing a lot in the last few years, even before pandemic started, where graduates are no longer just to be able to have their skill sets within the domain, but the ability to be agile and to learn new things. Recently in the Harvard Business Review article, it was writing about how HR professionals these days need to have digital marketing content skill sets as part of their baseline requirements because the nature of HR shifted. And then this shift and collision of job skills is happening across. The ability to learn and the ability to work in complex teams and different teams is something that's becoming a lot more required as we try to solve complex problems that are happening. COVID was one such situation, and the need to solve things like that requires different skill sets from different people from different disciplines working together to solve a complex problem. Transdisciplinary happens across 3 modules that we have in the first year, second year, and third year. And you can see on the left, in first year, students will bring those skill sets in PlayLab. In second year is the Math Studio project, and third year is the transdisciplinary project, which students will come back again to work on various transdisciplinary projects. We also have a creative entrepreneurship track, which allows students to develop a certain creative and entrepreneurial mindset. Now, a lot of students in this sector, the creative and design sector, would go on to look at doing freelance work or to be entrepreneurs of sort. And having the creative entrepreneur module allows students to have that basics or understanding of how to actually kickstart. And through that, students will be able to be nurtured. And if they find a passion to kickstart a new business, there are opportunities and pathways for students to build a creative business and entrepreneur portfolio, and allows them the ability then in the third year to start a new business of their own and to be mentored by relevant mentors who have been down that road before. These are the specializations that will be offered in the next academic intake. We have animation and games, creative community engagement with psychology, digital media and communications, experience and product design, story content and creation, sound and music, visual communications, and motion design. Let me share a bit more about what these programs are. Animation and games, as the name says, is really about creating and engaging 2D, 3D animation and interactive media. And within a gaming environment, so it deals with both animation and the game side of things. And it has transited into looking at how this can be done, not just with the digital aspect of things, but also within the metaverse. Creative community engagement with psychology allows students then to engage with a deeper understanding of communities and to develop certain programs to engage communities, to have dialogue with them, and to empower communities. Previously, this program was called the Applied Drama and Psychology. Drama is still there, but it's not the main form of intervention or program intervention. It allows other creative forms to be brought in, and this again is based a lot on feedback from various social work enterprises and community programs that actually have given us feedback that drama, being very niche, needs to be expanded a lot more to allowing students to have a broader skill set, a broader base of intervention tools. Digital media and communications allow students there to, at a strategic level, to be able to plan a marketing or branding campaign on various platforms with the skills to execute a cohesive and effective campaign for companies or various other stat-bottom agencies and ministries. Experience in product design trains students in designing both physical and digital products and services. And again, with a heavier focus on digital products, and allows students then to understand user needs. So a lot of user experience fundamentals are inherent in this program as well. Story and content creation trains students in the basic elements of writing and creating stories and crafting creative media across various genres and various platforms to allow students then to be able to write across different platforms in a global media context, which has shifted in the last few years. Sound and music. Again, this program looks at integrating the processes that allow the creation of various musical and audio content. And students go on to do work in events, in mixing, in production of sound, and not just playing music in itself. And finally, visual communication and motion design. And the whole world of graphic design has shifted. And again, this has moved into allowing students to become more versatile with visual communication and with the motion design skill sets, which has been used very much so in branding, advertising, and other forms of media-based media, which again, centered on user-centered research. Those are the various specializations that we have. And before I talk a bit about the facilities, do be reminded that at the end of this session, there is actually a breakout session with the various course chairs and of the various specializations where you can ask more questions in detail about those specializations. Now, just to show a snapshot of some of the various facilities that the med school has, we have the Immersive Media Lab, which deals with AR, VR, MR technologies, photo studios, your fully equipped photo studios with 5 bays to allow various student groups to actually do their photographic work or video shootings. We have the Forge, which allows students then to develop and design new ideas. Mad Factory for prototyping and production. The Writer's Room, a creative space, which is quite fun to be in actually. The Crit Room, Black Box for our drama students. The Think Tank for our animation and game students. And various studios like the recording studio, the math studio, drawing studios, and visual effects studios to support our various learning needs. We also have the newsroom that actually does, it's more like a CCA, which does support certain modules in writing and journalism, as well as producing content for industry partners and for the school as part of their own outreach and their, having a youth voice being established. Over the years, we've also worked with various key industry partners, and these are the some, not all, but some of the key industry partners that we have. So we have friends in MediaCorp, we work with Bloomer, DDB, KITS, and ActiveSG. I'm not going to go through all this, and you can find all these career options on the website. And these cover from the various specializations and all the various job options that are available for students that graduate from this program. A bit about further studies. A lot of our students do go on to further studies, and Students do go on to NUS or to NTU or to overseas as well. Some of them move on to LaSalle and some to NAFA. However, some students decide that they want to start working. And again, with the creative and design sectors, a lot of it is based on portfolio rather than just a paper qualification. So some students that go on to start work actually said, actually, I need to deepen myself in certain skill sets. And so they pick up a specialist diploma with us. Some of the courses that we offer are a part-time diploma design. And this is really more for those who do not have a diploma, but want to do a part-time diploma. And these are more for working adults. We have specialist diplomas in applied drama psychology, content marketing, digital marketing and analytics, immersive simulation, motion graphics and design, and user experience and digital product design. Now, some of these courses are very highly in demand and they actually get booked up very fast. So students that graduate can actually consider signing up for some of the specialist diplomas if they want to, rather than as they start work or rather than going to the university straight away. If they do, there are also then places in NTU and US. There's also a work study post-diploma leading to the spec dip in digital content marketing, which the work study program means that students are actually paired or are hired by a company and sponsored by a company, and they study and work at the same time with that company and as well doing this program. Let me just talk a bit about the early admissions exercise, which I'm sure all of you are quite keen to find out a bit more, and then I'll end and we can talk, spend more time on the Q&A. Now, the MAD's EAE process is a two-stage process. Once the EAE applications are open, there will the list of students will be sent to us, and then we will then invite students for the first stage, which is the online assessment. Students will be asked to choose an area in which their passions are in, and it's usually related to a specialization. Now, note, this does not mean that you are being interviewed for the specialization to come into the specialization, but you'll be coming into DMAT first. But usually your portfolio or your passions will lie within a certain area of a specialization. If you're shortlisted from the stage 1 online assessment, you'll be invited for a stage 2 interview. And in that interview, the various tutors will then take you through a series of questions and to answer to just to find out more about you, to know more about you and your passions. These are the admission criteria for the EAE offer. Do note is ELR2B2, right? With 26 points a minimum, 26 points or better for O levels. Right, so you need to have the ELR2B2 configuration as well as 26 points and to meet the minimum entry requirements. Now in stage 1, do note this is for streaming into specializations. Once you are in, whether you're through JAE or EAE, in Foundry, you'll be taken through your core Foundry programs, and students must complete the Foundry and take 2 taster modules, and then which they select the specialization. They will be streamed into the specialization at the end of first semester, which is the end of the Foundry program, based on aptitude, passion, and the performance in the various programs. And then in semester 2, that's where they begin to start their specialization. Just to take a note on the aggregate type of the ELR2B2-D category, right? Do take note, you need to have English, Maths, and 1 other subject from this list or from the D category, and any 2 of your best subjects. So a total of 5 subjects. So I'll say that again, English, Maths, E-Maths or A-Maths, and 1 further subject from this list here, and 2 of your best subjects. And that's the end of my slides. So let me just stop share. And I'll just hand this back now to Trudy, who will then take us into the next section. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Before I introduce our panelists, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind our audience about the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You can ask our panelists questions by clicking on the Q&A button and keying in your question. Your questions are coming in. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce our panelists for today. We have, from the Media Arts and Design School, our director, Ms. Tan Yen Yen, our course chairs, Mr. Christopher Goh and Ms. Charlene Ho, our deputy directors, Ms. Wendy Lee and Mr. Mark Liu. We will now move into the Q&A segment. All right, the first question may I ask if there are aptitude tests for EAE? All right. Thank you, Jaslyn, for your question. As the EAE tests by specialization, I'm going to direct the question to our Deputy Directors, Wendy and Mark. Wendy and Mark, please.
Why not I start? Hi, everyone, and thanks for that question. Yes, so there is an EAE, there are aptitude tests by specialization to really test your aptitude and your interest in that specialization that you're looking for, that you are trying to apply to. So it will be some simple tasks that you can do online. It will be a short series of questions, tasks to do. And if you are shortlisted, then what the next process would be to let us look at your portfolio, and we'll come down for an interview. So I think what is really important is also the portfolio, and to show us how, in the portfolio you can display your passion. So put in a lot of interesting things as well. I remember previously, for example, students would come in with their notebooks from primary school of all the short stories that they've written from when they were little to present day, or they would be so enterprising, and they would set up like pop-up cafes selling some of the products that they made of their favorite K-pop band. And that to us shows your design skills, your entrepreneurial skills. And these are the type of passion and drive that we want to see in our students as well when we consider you for EAE. Yes. Wendy, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I think, thank you, Mark. I think you answered most of the necessary. So I would like to encourage students who are applying to the AG, which is the animation game. You can also bring along your sketches. It can be like some of your leisure drawings, such as you like manga, you like anime, or any little character design. It is not necessary that you must bring like still life or either the O-level art kind of drawings. Yeah. Thank you.
It's really about showing us your passion and beyond the classroom and beyond your schoolwork, what you have done as well in your own free time. Yeah.
Yes. So for those people who are applying for music, you can also like maybe sing some of the lyrics which you compose on your own. Yes. We are looking forward to see you.
Thank you, Wendy and Mark. Our next question is from Wenwei. Thank you for your question. Wenwei asks, once you enter the DMAT course, is it guaranteed for you to enter the specialization you choose in year 2? First point, you're choosing your specialization in year 1. And I'm going to ask Chris to take over for this question.
Thanks, Rudy. As mentioned in the briefing earlier on, no, like I said, EAE doesn't guarantee your place in the specialization. EAE guarantees you your place in DMAT, right? And that being said, when you come into the Foundry, you will be doing various core modules, and as well as choosing 2 out of the 5 taster modules. If there's a specific specialization that you're interested in, it is to do the taster, which is relevant to the specialization. And naturally, if you came in through EAE, that means you have certain skill sets, right? That means you have certain abilities, and the trend or based on statistics, it has shown us that students who came in through certain EAE processes with certain skill sets tend to do better in certain specializations in which they're passionate in, and those naturally lead to a specialization that you would want to choose as well. So it's based upon, at the end of the day, it's based upon your performance in your tasters as well as your Foundry modules.
Thank you, Chris. Kayla asks, just wanted to inquire about the application process for working adults. Would it be the same? Chris, would you like to take this question as well?
Sure. Okay, so for the application process for working adults, there is a different timing phase for that under the MOE system. So do check out the MOE website for EAE, for admissions. There are different phases that are opened up for working adults, ex-poly students, and then EAE students in the website. So that one's updated, and you can check the MOE website for that.
Thank you, Chris. Now, Jaslyn asks, what are you looking for higher NITEC students? Wendy and Mark, over to you.
Well, I think the same thing that we look out for in all EAE students is really the aptitude and the passion. If you can show us that through, your work, be it in school or preferably outside of school, you started your own Facebook, YouTube channel or your own TikTok channel, and you create your own content there. That would be great. As Wendy was saying that, if you are passionate about music and you compose your own songs and you perform your songs, pretty much the same things that we look for in any EAE student, and any whether it is from the secondary school route or the ITE route, would be the same thing. Really, it's about your passion and your aptitude as well. And this is because I think when you come into the course, to your specializations, you'll be getting a chance to work with so many industry partners to really take your passion further. So it's really good if you can have that firm start, that firm foundation of knowing what your passion is. And then you can work with partners like what Chris was mentioning earlier, MediaCorp, Kids, Active SG, to really bring that, to hone your skills in all of these areas as well.
Can I just add on to something which Mark said, and maybe not just for higher NITEC students, but more for all our EAE applicants? I think one of the things that we do really treasure and we do look forward to is students coming in with that hungry attitude of wanting to learn and being open to learn and being open to be taught. Because sometimes students come in with a certain skill set or certain passion and they feel that I know everything about this area, or I'm very good at drawing already, so I know everything there is to know about drawing. And not a lot, but we do have students like that. And it's very hard then for them to learn new things because there's this assumption that I've learned it all. So if you're coming in with a hunger and a passion to learn, be open to learning, basically, that's what we're saying. And being open to discover the new possibilities, because your perception of the industry, your perception of your specialization may not be what it is really out there in the industry. So that's what I'm saying is come in with a hunger to learn and be open to what is possible and new learning opportunities.
If I might add to what Chris was saying as well, Chris, I totally agree with you. And also because like what you were saying earlier, right, there's the transdisciplinary aspect. So they learn so many other things beyond their discipline. And I think that is so important these days as well. So I can imagine, a content creator working with the students in the specialization for creative community engagement, and they're coming up with stories or documentaries or games or apps that can really make an impact for the community as well, more than just that single discipline if you were working by yourself, right? So that willingness to learn and work with others is super important as well.
Actually, Mark, you're actually very right in saying that the whole transdisciplinary nature is quite critical, because it really requires students that come in to work in a setting with different disciplines and different specializations to look beyond just their own skill set, and to be able to contribute and work comfortably in, let's say, if we push it really, to work with engineers, to work with business students, to work with chemical life students, to work with architecture, interior design students, because the whole transdisciplinary need is quite huge, and to solve complex problems, you need to work across various disciplines, and that's where DMAT actually offers that opportunity.
Yes, also I would like to add on is the can-do spirit is very important. The dare to do, or dare to try, because I have noticed many IT students who came to join our program, they can emerge as a top student in the end. I think basically because they dare to try new things. For example, let's say final year project, they take on those new technology, making use of the opportunity to work with the industry. So all this, they collected many significant portfolio, which so many industry players would like to employ them in eventually as well. Yeah, I think this is open to all the students, not only IT students. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our next question, actually 2 questions. Danielle, thank you for your question. What materials do we bring for either an online interview or an in-person interview? And Charlene, what works should we show in our portfolio? For example, programs and videos. This is a question for Wendy and Mark. Wendy and Mark, please.
Actually, maybe Trudy, do you want to answer? Because I know you always do interviews for EAE as well. Maybe from your perspective, what would you like to see?
That's a good question. I would like to see works that show me why you would be a good fit for that particular area. or specialization. I don't want to see your exam results, and I don't want to see your schoolwork, because schoolwork, everybody has the same schoolwork. I want to see what do you do in your free time. If in your free time you make videos, show me the videos. If in your free time you write on your blog online, show me some entries from your blog. I want to see how that shows that you're passionate about this area, and I want to see the person behind the exam grades. Yeah.
I fully agree with Trudy, yes. Because like I do see a student bring in a very thick manga which created by themselves since primary school with a very interesting storyline. So this already show your full passions on what you would like to do. And I think I remembered one student also showed one of a board game that he has created. So all these are very, very a good example. Yes, thank you.
If I may add, for this year's EAE interview, it's going to be face-to-face. So it's good for you to start preparing your portfolio as well, what you want to bring in, as well as even at the first stage of the assessment, you'll be asked to put in your YouTube link and so forth. Okay, so I think it's a good time during this holiday to start preparing, because the application will start on the 23rd of June.
Maybe I can say something. I think, why we are actually also calling for a face-to-face interview is that we really want to get to know you as a person. So who are you? And if you really do have the passion for that creative art, I think it will come across during the interview. I think what you bring and so forth is really an expression of what you have done, and really your passion for the craft. So I really would say that just be yourself, but prepare. So you really want to think about who are you, what do you want as a creative, and how are you going to showcase that to the interview panel so that we can really see the person that you are. So that's something that is really up to each and every one of you, and every one of you is different. So you don't have to copy what colleagues here have shared. It is just who you are, what makes you special, and bring that to the table. And that would really make the difference.
Thank you. All right. Ingwen writes, when applying for MAD in the EAE portal, do we have to specify the specializations? Charlene, over to you.
Hi. When you're applying for the MAD, okay, there isn't any specialization. Remember, you're actually coming into DMAT itself. However, in the 600 characters that you're writing, I believe that what your interests might even come on. So you might want to state what is your preferred, what you're passionate about in your write-up.
Thank you. Lexon writes, just to be sure, the entry requirement is 4 or 5 subjects. One is English and maths, plus 2 other subjects or 3 other subjects. Charlene, back to you.
Right, that is 5 subjects. So do remember, DMAT is under category D. So you will need your English, your math, any 2 subjects, as well as there's your basket of subjects that you must have set for. So go into the website and check out what are the subjects under category D.
Thank you, Brian Ang, for your question. Brian writes, as a higher NITEC student with a passion for music, how would I prepare for this EAE test, and how do I prepare for it? Okay, Brian, I'm not going to direct the question to our panelists. I'm going to ask you to please join the specialization afterwards in the breakout session, and you can find out more there and your questions will be answered there. Thank you, Brian. All right, Jaslyn writes, is the EAE aptitude test and interview face-to-face or online? Charlene, would you like to take this?
It's going to be a face-to-face this time round. We are glad to be able to meet you face-to-face. So, yep, we'll let you know when you're shortlisted for the stage 2 interview.
Charmaine writes, assuming that one has already chosen the specialization in year 1, are we allowed to change it if the student does not feel that it's suitable? Charlene, another question for you.
Right. So what happened is that in year one, after you've chosen the specialization in stage 1B, you have started your modules. And when you choose a specialization, you also go back to what you have done in your foundries. Well, if you are going to change, that would mean that you might have to delay your program a little bit more, as well as then we look at other factors that might come in. Yeah, because your classmate will have started the program.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Ryan asks, may I ask if all the details and deadlines for the EAE are in the SP website? Please, when you go for the specialization breakouts, check over there. You can ask your questions there. And then Megan asks about aptitude and, Nigel, what are key areas that are looked out for in our portfolios? I'm going to direct this question to Wendy and Mark.
So I think that what we've been mentioning before about passion, things that you do beyond your schoolwork, really applies. It's applied. We apply it. We look for that across all the specializations. But like what Trudy was saying earlier, I really urge you guys to go to the breakout sessions, because the breakout session will really tell you. You'll get to speak with the leads for each specialization and really know about the course a bit more, what you will be doing, and whether it matches. I think it's really important that at the end of the day, you find out enough about the course to know that your passions match the course. And I think this is why we want to do the interview and see your portfolio as well. It really is to see whether, in the long run, would you fit in and do well in this course, because, we also have your interests at heart, and, we want to enjoy what you're studying. So please go for the breakout session, that individual breakout session. I think that's my best advice that I would like to give. Wendy, Chris, Charlene, any other things that you would like to say?
Yes, I fully agree that you can join our specialization session later, the breakout session later. Yeah.
Okay, Megan writes, you speak about aptitude and passion. How about my grades? What is the expectation of the grades? That's a very good question. Charlene?
Hi, Megan. Thank you for the questions. Okay, so what happens is that if you're applying through EAE, if you are successful, you'll be given a conditional offer. Okay, however, that doesn't mean that you don't study for your O-levels. In fact, you should study even harder, because after your O-level, you need to meet the minimum requirements. Say, for example, for English, currently is 1 to 7, right? So you need to meet that, because what happens is that if you don't meet the minimum requirements and keep it below 26, MOE will actually revoke your application. Okay, so that's important as well.
Thank you, Charlene. Ryan asks, what is the other route to do DMAT besides EAE? And will the majority of arts done be digital, in brackets, not much traditional art? All right, Christopher, over to you.
Thanks, Trudy. Okay, so the art part of it, a lot of it is actually, there will be basic foundation in manual drawing, right? There will be basic drawing classes depending on the specializations you go into, and there will be some certain aspects of hands-on drawing, definitely. But as you move into looking at the other specializations, and depending on the specialization you go to, you can't escape from having digital art. And so there will be also a lot more training in digital art and working with digital art. And you'll be trained through that, and you'll be taken through that in terms of how do I work drawing on a tablet or other forms of computer-based kind of art. Sorry, I missed out the first part of the question. I'm trying to find the question again. This seems to have disappeared from the answer. Trudy, what was the first part of the question?
I think the first part of the question had to do with
what are the other routes to DMAT other than EAE?
Right, aside from EAE.
So apart from EAE, there is JAE, which is then your normal O-level route, which is you will then be based upon your O-level score, which is your last aggregate score, and you'll be coming in based on that. The other routes is either whether you're a working adult, ex-poly student, or from the ITE, These are the other categories that are the other various admission programs that we have. And for those, you can actually look at the MOE website. I think there was an earlier question of where do I get the deadlines and the timelines for the submissions. For the overall EAE, it's actually the MOE website, but then you will need to look at the SP website for some of the more specific submissions when it comes down to the EAE side of things, right? I hope that answers your question.
Can I add on the art part? Yeah. All right, so you asked about is all art is all traditional art? We do cover both traditional art and digital art. The reason why we need to have a traditional art is because the traditional art itself is to help you to build out the fundamental. And in fact, when we speak to many industry players, they told us that when they look for people who can do animation or concept art. They will look into their traditional art skill first. Yes, so or either when you would want to further your study in NTU or either DigiPen, you will have at least one full year doing traditional art. So we actually prepare you well for meeting the industry need as well as further study.
Maybe if I could add in on this, I think in SP, when we look at how we design the curriculum, fundamentals and foundation skills are very important. So like what Wendy was mentioning, when we talk about art, there are certain fundamentals that need to be picked up. And on that basis, then you actually move on to more advanced things. So without a very good foundation, I think that it would be really, really hard to be able to create very, very innovative kind of artwork. So therefore, in the first year, you notice that there is the first semester, you are doing the foundry. And what that does is to build a very solid foundation for the creative. And that would cover things like design, psychology. It would cover things like storytelling. Why is that important? Because as a creative, without these fundamental skills, you can't design a game that resonates with the audience that you're talking to. You cannot write a compelling story for production, for TV. You cannot do a compelling, let's say, social media campaign. So without the fundamental skills of drawing, of design, of storytelling, it's very, very hard for you to be able to produce excellent work as you go forward. So therefore, this is all built into the curriculum that SP has designed for you.
To add on, I actually put a link in the chat. So for those applying EAE, please check out the information. Okay, the application dates, especially I think there's a question on working adults, is starting this Monday.
Thank you, everyone. All right, I'm going to look at two more questions that are related. Ming Si says, for EAE interview, can I show videos and edits of my vlogs? And Shana asks if it is okay for my portfolio to be digital for the face-to-face interview. So what format should the portfolio take? Over to Mark and Wendy.
So of course, we would love to see the videos and edits of your blogs and more. Whatever you would like to show us, again, we would be more than happy to see. Perhaps given as an advice, you have many things to I'm sure you all would have many things to show. Show the ones that you are most proud of and something that you can tell the story why you are proud of it and what were your thought processes that can show us something beyond the product itself but the story behind it. Yeah. And the second question was about Shruti, what was it? I'm so sorry.
The second question was, is it okay to have a digital?
The digital hard copy or soft copy portfolio. Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, I believe that it depends on please go and look, speak with the Specializations breakout room again. Some types of artifacts are much better shown hard copy. Some are more, soft copy is fine as well. So depending on the specialization that you are applying for, I would believe that maybe drawings and all that, we really want to see the hard copy because of the size, the scale and all that, the strokes. Maybe Wendy, Chris, Charlene, the rest, you can chime in as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you are having a very big art drawing board, we also do not expect you to bring that, because it will be quite inconvenient to bring it along at the MRT. You can actually capture it with good high resolution as a digital copy.
For those who are showing the digital copy, I would advise to bring in your device so that you can actually show it to us. All right.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. This is our last question now. Are there any common issues doing DMAT, creative disagreements between group members during projects? All right, I'm opening this to all of you on the panel. Would you like to comment, please?
I think having a creative disagreement is part and parcel of the group's development. And in training teams to be transdisciplinary, there is a need to have disagreements. But it's again how we actually view disagreements. How do we see that? Is it something positive or is it something negative? If every one of the team members is agreeing, then no one actually says, hey, stop, this project's not working. We're heading the wrong direction, right? Or this person isn't contributing. Can you please step up and contribute? So there is a need then for the team to have some form of honest discussions. And well, whether it's a disagreement or not, it provides an opportunity to discuss ideas and to have different opinions. And in that is actually where the learning actually happens, to recognize that actually different people have different opinions and there's value in some of the opinions. And even some of the ideas that you may disagree with initially may actually then be built into the entire project or to the group. So yes, there will be some of these things, but it is an expected portion of the development of teams as the teams develop in understanding how to work with one another in a transdisciplinary setting. Someone else feel free to add.
Yeah, I agree with what Chris has mentioned. And definitely when there's people, there's bound to be a disagreement as well as conflict. I think ultimately is that what do you learn from there and how do we grow from there? I think that's something that we definitely want to. And from there, you see yourself grow as a person within the 3 years in DMAT itself, and how to better handle even when you're out to the industry in such situations, when you work with different stakeholders.
And I guess it's when we learn those skills of managing these forms of differing views and ideas, and when we work it through as a team, the bonds and the relationship with the team actually grow stronger. Because they have gone through certain disagreements, they've worked through it, and they said, no, I'm committed to working through it without falling out with this person, and I don't talk to this person. No, the team actually worked through it, and the team actually grows stronger, and they actually build a better relationship with one another, and they actually perform at a better state after that sort of working things through period.
If I might add, one more common issue that I think my students face is time management. We don't have exams at all in our school, which is a good thing. I think some of you as students may be like, yeah, no more exams because you don't like exams. But we have a lot of project work. And project work is a good thing because you get time to work on it. So if you invest the time and the effort and you plan your time well, you should be able to do pretty well. Where students struggle is where the semester is really only 15 lessons or 18 weeks long with a break in between. So, and you'll find that most of your assignments hit a certain area while we try to space it out, but learning happens and the final assignments usually tend to crowd around a certain area and a certain time period. So you really need to learn to manage your time well, manage your energy well, manage your emotions well, manage your communication skills well, because you will be really juggling with a lot of things in Polytechnic as well. And that's the thing, that's a trade-off if you don't have exams. But really, when you go into the workforce and all that, there are no exams in life, so it's a lot of projects and all that. So this is a skill that we're training you for. So other than creative disagreements, which is a very good learning opportunity for you as well, it's about time management, emotional management, energy management, and all that as well.
Thank you, everyone.
Actually, sorry.
Sorry, Wendy. Please continue.
Yeah, so actually creative disagreement is very common in the industry. I myself went through that as well. Sometimes it's like the whole creative team already agreed on the design style, but when we meet up with the client disagree. So it's not only within the team disagreement. Yeah, it can be the client from the client aspect as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone for your comments. I know that some of you may still have questions that you're dying to ask. I apologize that time is short. However, please join the specialization webinars so that you can ask your questions there. This is not the end. You can take your questions to the breakouts. All right. So we've now come to the end of this webinar. Right after this, we'll be flashing the Zoom webinar meeting IDs of all 7 specializations. Please join any of the specialization webinars that you are interested in and bring your questions there. But before we do that, we hope that you can share with us your thoughts about today's event by completing the feedback form. On screen now, you can see a QR code to the feedback form for today's webinar. Please use your mobile phone to scan the QR code or type the URL into your web browser. We will leave this QR code on screen for 1 or 2 minutes so that you can complete the feedback form.
Participants, I also have just one last thing that I want to remind all of you, which is that, for the EAE exercise, you will have actually 3 choices. So just in case you don't know, actually your choices are very important. So if, let's say, you put an institution as the first choice, and that institution actually offers you the EAE position. Let's say your second choice institution also offers you. You will not be able to see the offer from your second choice institution. And similarly, so in other words, please think very, very carefully which you want to put as your first choice. The reason is that this would probably really affect the choices, assuming that you're very passionate, and basically every institution will offer you. If you choose wrongly, let's say after the interview you decide that you want to go to your second choice institution and your first choice has offered you, you will not even see the offer from the second choice institution. So EAE is a very, very important decision for all of you, and I really urge all of you to think very carefully which institution can give you the experience that you want, and really make that choice for yourself. What is best for you that would actually open up doors for your creative journey ahead.
Let's tell them to take the survey.
Okay. All right. Just to remind you, please do the survey. Thank you for completing this feedback form. On screen now, we are flashing the Zoom webinar meeting IDs for all 7 specializations. Please choose the specialization webinar that you're interested in. We are pausing on this screen for a while so that you can take note of the information. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Stay safe, and we hope to see you around SP's Media Arts and Design School. Remember, your creative journey begins with MAD. Thank you.